Welcome to Distorted Realities. Here are your hosts, J Rock and Frank Walls.
What up? What up? How you guys doing today?
Doing all right. Hi, and welcome to Distorted Realities. My name is J Rock, and alongside me is Mr. Frank Walls.
How you doing, guys? We welcome you, and we're very happy to be here. Very anxious.
Yes. So, just so you know a little bit about the format, we'll be discussing conspiracy theories, aliens, all kinds of weird and paranormal things that go out throughout the world. We'll be providing our own personal take on it, a little more lighthearted than most of the individuals you see on the interwebs. But with that being said, thank you for joining us, and let's get the show on the road. It's episode.
Let's get rolling. Let's get rolling.
So, how was your week?
Very, very interesting. Working hard. And doing research here and there for the program and all that, and very, very, very good.
That's good.
How was your weekend?
Oh, it was great. I went this weekend to an art gallery presentation for a gentleman named Frank Planko out in Fort Lauderdale.
Wow.
Let me just show the actual presentation card that he had. 1 second. Here we go. It was at the South Florida Symphony Orchestra location, and he was the main artist there, and he was presenting his theme or his concept art, which is called Primavera.
Nice.
Which in Spanish, it's another word for spring.
Spring. Yeah, you're right.
So,
you're right.
Very creative, abstract pieces, beautiful colors, a lot of it with meaning behind the pieces, which I brought two of them actually.
They're over here, right?
So why don't we take a look at it?
Let's see. Yep, this one right here.
So that first piece there is called Jerry. Yeah, and essentially, we looked at these images and we spoke about the art itself, and it was very vibrant, very artsy, as I would expect. A lot of wine and charcuterie, which was a great experience for me, by the way.
What about this one right here?
Oh, so that one is Smoker.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So it's a beautiful piece of art, and at the end of the day, you get a feel and respect for the artist and the work they do. Right? It's true what they say, that what education does for the mind, the art does for the soul, and Mr. Polanco is brilliant at doing that, because he's not just putting art for the sake of art, right? He's actively engaged in this community, and he's using art as the vehicle to foster community amongst the neighbors.
It's right? like his passion,
It's you can see the passion in his work.
That's
So
nice.
kudos to Mr. Frank Polanco, and thank you for allowing me to participate
Nice.
at this open reception event. And yes, look forward to more. So moving on.
We have a lot on our plate today. A lot.
Yes, we have a lot on our plate today. So let's see. Cryptids.
Yep.
Yeah. So what is your take on the Beast of Busco?
Wow. That's a very interesting topic. About the Beast of Busco. It's a weird story that happened in a small town, supposedly in the decades of 1949.
1949.
Yeah.
So what about the Beast of Busco? Like, what is it that you know about the beast so far?
Well, according to the research that I did, it was a farmer named Oscar Falk, claiming to have seen a giant turtle living in the 7-acre lake on his farm near Churubusco, Indiana.
Can you pronounce that?
I don't know.
It sounds like churro.
Churubusco. Sounds like churrasco. That's
Yeah,
like a
it's
piece
a
of
good-
meat.
yeah, it's a
Really
good
good
steak.
piece. Yeah. He told others about it, but eventually he decided to drop the matter. Have a century later, in July 1948, two Churubusco citizens, Ora Blue and Charlie Wilson, also reported seeing a huge turtle weighing an estimated more than 500 pounds while fishing on the same lake, which had come to be known as the Fault Lake. A farmer named Gale Harris owned the land at that time. Harris and others also reported seeing the creature war spread.
Okay, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Very
It's
interesting.
very interesting. So how big is this? I mean, 500 pounds is a lot, right?
That's
so
like
I
a
guess
car.
so I'm trying to figure out, like, in terms of dimensions, right? Like,
Yeah.
how big is this turtle?
Could be like a Volkswagen, those little Beetles, maybe. That
Really?
size.
That's pretty
Could
big.
be.
I mean, so that's funny because have you seen Stephen King's It?
Yeah.
So like there's some lore behind it, and there's this giant turtle that's in the cosmos.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a cryptid version of that, where the other version, it's more like almost like a godlike being that's surfing the cosmos, right? So yeah, it's interesting. So let's take a look at the image that we found. It's more like an artist rendering. And by the way, we find all our sources through Google. None of it is ours. We're not claiming it to be ours. It's
Yeah.
just our way of doing research, and I'm presenting it as it is, right? We can't say it's facts or not because it's not ours to decide, and we didn't see it.
Exactly.
So here it is, the Beast of Busco. So it looks like a giant, overgrown snapping turtle.
Could be a reminiscence of a dinosaur. Am I saying that right? Like
It's reminiscent of a dinosaur.
there you go. Could be. Could be.
It could be. Look at its features, right? It has that little beak. Looks like a snapping turtle.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a lot bigger than the artist rendering, right? So I am not sure.
Yeah, 500 pounds is a lot. That should be huge. Man.
I mean, it's massive at that point, right? So, So the guy never found it after that first sighting, I'm assuming.
No. But there were two witnesses that they were fishing at the lake, and they saw the turtle.
Okay,
On the
that's
same
very interesting. So I guess for me, the question would be is, so from what I heard and from what we had discussed in your research, they even emptied out a lake to actually look at, to see if they could find this turtle. But I mean, that's really massive. Even if you had a lake, to miss it would be very difficult.
That's what I think that is real, because why would you empty a lake? Why will you have that obsession to empty a lake in order to see what you claiming you saw? You know what I mean? Like to find it, and that this is the little things of the stuff that make it like real. Like it could be real because they have a purpose to empty the lake just to find it. You know what I mean?
So you think this is like some remnant ancient prehistoric turtle
be.
that just managed to survive?
Could be. Remember, the turtles normally they last for hundreds of years.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They do. That's very
So,
interesting.
If maybe a dinosaur looking one could last more because they're bigger. I don't know.
So here's some food for thought. Like, turtles can live for hundreds of years, right? Like, wouldn't you want to peer into their brain and see what they've seen throughout the years? Because they've probably seen a lot of change, right?
That's
be
interesting. Very interesting.
Yes.
They're like a time machine. If you can access that, you will see how was the world before or whatever. Right?
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
It's very, very interesting.
If you could be a turtle, though, and you can live that long, what would you want to see?
I don't know, man. Maybe the evolution of humankind. What's next? What's next? In life, the technology. I don't know, man. I wonder why they don't make these beauty products and stuff. They should have made it from turtles, right?
I don't know.
Maybe they make it last longer. I don't know.
So there are parts of the world where turtles are delicacies, right? Where you can eat turtle soup, and they actually, like, they even have TikTok videos of this stuff. And it's a little bit, being a person who's never had any of that, and you look at a turtle as a pet, a beautiful creature. You go to the beach, you see a sea turtle, you're in awe, right? Like it's hard for me to see that as an animal I can eat.
There's people that eat it.
Yeah, I know. But
I've heard stories. I never tried one before. Let me clarify that out there.
Let me guess. It tastes like chicken.
I don't know. I've never tried a turtle before. But
So, yeah.
I had one on my hands when I was young. I used to dive in the beaches of Puerto Rico, and I remember seeing one that was kind of stuck in a reef area. So I grabbed it, and everybody came out like, "Hey, leave it! Don't touch it!" And I was like, "Yeah, I just want to move it from here to the open ocean." It was a little turtle, but they're very protective in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Yeah, and they can become really huge, like a maybe like this table over here.
So actually, I have a in-law family member that has a giant tortoise.
Wow.
And I mean, this thing is huge. I mean, feed it rolls of cabbage. So I imagine what you would feed a 500-pound turtle, like
Right.
the beast of Busco, right? So yeah, so that's very interesting. So all in all, it's very possible that something that big can exist. Is it a turtle? Perhaps, right? But it would be stuff of legend, right?
Could be.
I find it interesting. I could probably sink my teeth into it and say I believe in it.
You see, this is what it says here about the lake thing. It says, after many doubted existence of the turtle, Harris made several attempts to catch the beast, including draining the lake by pumping the water into an area sealed off by a dam with the help of Orville Wright and Kenneth Leach, only for the dam to break when the lake had almost been entirely drained.
Wow.
So that's the purpose right there. That they were
Is there any evidence of that being factual, or is just hearsay?
accordingly. I know in the town, this happened in Indiana. They celebrate. They have like a festival and everything about this turtle thing. It's something big like that.
Wow, that's very
Yeah.
interesting.
It's
Very
like-
interesting. So the Beast of Busco. I guess for those of you who are watching it, look it up. I mean, it seems like a non-harmful cryptid. You know, something that just exists, and maybe it's been here longer than most of us.
scary looking because if it's real big, but there was no incidents with the turtle, like didn't harm anybody or didn't eat nobody, So
That we know of.
exactly.
All right, so let's move on. Beast of Busco, something to look at, folks. So when you get a chance.
What you think about this urban legend called the Smiley Man?
Oh, so that one is interesting, right? But the issue with it is that well, you know what? Let's go roll back a little bit. So what is the Smiling Man, right? It goes by the name of Ingrid Cole, right? And Ingrid Cole is a very interesting character because it drives on this very freakishly common fear that we all have, which is stalking,
Stalking, yeah.
right? So let's just let's take a look at the original render that we found, which is there on the screen right now. So Ingrid Cole, otherwise known as the Smiling Man, originated as a creepypasta, right? So it's from my understanding, and I apologize for those of you who are more current gen. I'm from the old school. We term that urban legends. Okay, so I'm going to use that term as opposed to creepypasta. I like it better. But it's an urban legend about a gentleman who has this notorious smile, and I guess whenever he's interested in someone or interested in an event, he shows up and he has this real fiendish smile that's very irritating, annoying. It almost incites fear in people. So what did you find out?
Well, let me add to that thing. The first time I heard creepypasta was here, that with you and me talking. I never heard that term before. I thought it was my wife, Pasta. She used to a little bit creepy, but
You know she's listening, right?
oh yeah, I forgot. She made me wait for a pasta for a long time. Yeah, she wanted me to do lasagna.
No,
Yeah.
listen. Okay.
But going back to this creepy creature, Ingrid Cold. Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. Imagine being stalked by a guy that has this weird smile in his face, and like very shining eyes. I don't know. That's kind of creepy. It is creepy.
So the first rendering didn't do us justice, right? So why don't we look at the other image? I mean, this is creepy enough as it is, right?
It is.
If I've had somebody walking down, down the block with me and he's smiling like that for no apparent
With a
reason,
fake smile. With a fake smile.
I think I'd be a little bit more on the hesitant side to engage in any interaction with that individual. So let's see the other picture though, because this is where it looks like it's night and day, right? So, bam.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
So that's a little bit more
Scary.
Nah, it's not. That's not scary.
No?
That's the stuff that makes nightmares seem like a joke. Yeah, it's very interesting to look at, right? It almost looks like his mouth is distorted and stuck that way, right? And his eyes are a little more deep in the socket.
He has kind of like the Joker smile, that
Yeah, so
very evil smile.
yeah. I mean, so the good news is nothing has ever happened outside of an attempted or alleged kidnapping,
Kidnapping. Yeah.
right? Based on the fandom that we look at or wiki that we look at, and basically it's really known to show up, incite some kind of uncomfort or discomfort to human beings. And it usually appears when there's something catastrophic about to happen to said individual or group.
That's weird because it says that sometimes it could be like an omen, right?
Like a bad omen,
like
right?
a bad omen. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
So I guess the question becomes like, what would you do in that case? He shows up. Would you be afraid of him, or would you be afraid of what's to come?
Well, now that we know, if we see him, now unless we got that knowledge, knowledge is power. Like maybe if you see it and you don't know that when he show up, when something's gonna happen, you know what I mean? But now we know, we have that knowledge that if we see him, then we're gonna be like, damn, something's gonna happen.
I'm screwed.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the way around it.
something
So sticking to that trend, I mean, there's not a lot going for this particular urban legend. So we covered a cryptid and we covered an urban legend / creepypasta. Let's go back to the urban legend because there is something in common with this individual and the Moth Man.
Moth Man.
Right? So let's remove this and look at Mothman. So this creature, why don't you talk about the Mothman?
Well, the Mothman is a story. This happened in West Virginia. It's like a West Virginia folklore, like a creepypasta. From
What is
West
it, like
Virginia.
Point Pleasant, I believe?
Yep, Point Pleasant. Yeah. On November 15, 1966. From November 1966 to December 1967, the first newspaper report was published in Point Pleasant registered, dated on November 16. A couple see a man-sized bird creature. The national press soon picked up the reports, helped spread the story across the United States. The source of the legend, believed to have originated on the sightings of or out of migrations. The creature was introduced to a wild audience, later popularized by John Keel. So the story, apparently this couple were like on a trip, and they saw this huge man bird.
Man bird.
Yeah, that's how they describe it, So I don't know how from man bird became Moth Man, right? But so Roger and Linda Scarberry told police they had seen a large black creature whose eyes glow red, standing at the side of the road, the site of a former World War II ammunition plant. So it was close to an ammunition plant in World War II. So this is like very old.
So I guess my thoughts on it is that there was something about this creature that wasn't necessarily dangerous, but rather had the ability to show up when catastrophe is about to happen. And I believe an incident had occurred when these sightings became very prevalent, right? And I believe what was a bridge collapse?
Yeah, it says over the next few days, more people reported similar sighting after a local newspaper covered it too. So apparently, once they reported it, people start seeing it all like more often. There's even they create a statue on that place, on that town, There's a statue of the Moth Man. Like
So there's a festival
exactly. Yeah.
that's held for this particular cryptid.
The same thing happened with the creature of Busco. They do a festival for the turtle, and this is what make you think it is real or not, because they're doing festivals. They're memorabilia, everything. Like it make you think like if it was real or not.
So there's a lot of things that we have to take into account when we look at these cryptids. One, these are sightings that are reported. Was there any, based on your research, was there any proof or images that could be quantifiable that says, hey, somebody actually caught it on tape, caught it on video? No?
Yeah, I think supposedly somebody took some pictures. I know for the creature of Busco, there was a guy that took 299 pictures, but they were blurry. They couldn't see the.
Yeah, that was another thing. Like anyone who attempts to take a picture ends up with a blurry image. It never shows up clear. But again, how long ago was this? If it was old, it's very, very hard to mimic those effects. But in today's time, we can Photoshop just about anything, right? So
it says that more than 100 people saw the Moth Man, with many more afraid report of the sighting. So more than 100 people have spotted and see it. Like between different years. Yeah, you know what reminded me of this? Remember that movie, Creeper?
Jeepers
Creeper. There you go.
It shows up once in a while, and then everybody sees it, and then
exactly.
it disappears for another 500 years or whatever.
Kind of like.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. You think this holds more weight than the traditional cryptids like Bigfoot, Sasquatch? Because that's a lot of numbers. That's a lot of reports, right? Yeah. A lot of people reporting that they've seen it.
Now, I'm thinking about something. Why there's no a chupacabra statue or festival in Puerto Rico?
That's because when you have festivals, you need meat. And because the chupacabra eats the goats, like that's just it. There's no meat left, right? So I would assume that would be the case. But not only that, there's a difference, right? And this is on a more serious piece. Yeah. These things are more, they show up, they're letting you know something is going to happen, and then it happens because it's unavoidable. There's no way around it. But then you have a creature that can create harm, and that's a red flag. So we don't treat, it's funny because we don't treat cryptids the same as we do pets, for example.
Exactly.
There's some people who can look at a snake and say, that's a very dangerous animal, versus a dog, oh, it's cute and playful.
Exactly.
Right? So they probably say the same thing about cryptids, right? Well, no, these things are just there. They give us a warning. But that one will eat all your crops and all your animals. And that's it.
Yeah, the chupacabra is more dangerous because...
and it's weird because the sightings that took place for that were very quick. It happened. It was all the buzz, and then it fizzled out. But this one held its weight for a while.
No, the Moth Man is something big. Like there's a lot of people.
And a movie was written on, was made based on this called the Moth Man Prophecies.
Yeah,
I believe so. And I think it was pretty good. So all in all, I mean, I think that for people to, I guess, glorify and make it a great event out of this isn't that bad. You know what I mean?
You know what threw me off a little bit of that statue that they made, that the wings look more like a butterfly wings. So you know what that made me think about the MK Ultra. The MK Ultra.
Right.
That they use some butterfly effects things I've heard related to the MK Ultra project and all that.
So you would figure probably hallucination drugs or some toxic gas that made people see something that wasn't.
Could be. You never know.
Never know. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for Moth Man. And now on to other things.
This is some deep stuff that we're going right now. So
aliens, right? Like everybody talks about aliens.
If you have your aluminum hat,
no.
foil hat, you can put it right now.
No. So I treat this one a little bit more special because growing up as a kid, right? Like Star Trek was a thing, right?
Yeah.
Star Wars was a real big deal for my generation and even the ones before me. So this idea about alien species, right, came about, and you always hear about one or two things. One of them was more comical. You see a little Martian with a little red hat, and the other one was the Greys,
The Greys,
right?
the
The Gray
Greys,
aliens,
the Gray
and then the question became, what do we know and what do we don't know about them, right? Because some of this stuff is very consistent.
It is. It is.
You have the Roswell incident. You have so many different reports, sightings, abductions. I mean, this
A
thing
lot,
can go.
a lot of people claim to be abducted by aliens and have weird surgeries or stuff like that
Yeah.
made by them.
So I was looking around and I was like, okay, so is there only one race of aliens, or are there like tons of aliens, and what do they look like, or how would they behave, and what's the intent? And I'm always interested in the intent, right? Like, what's your purpose?
Exactly.
If we're a lesser species, what is your intent? So
There had to be a motive behind, right? Like
Right.
why they come
So-
here to visit and all that.
So I did some digging and I found that there's a slew of alien type races that exist and that they are intentful based on various writings. And the first one was that I found interesting because they were the closest to appearance as a human race is the Pleiadians. And I hope I'm not butchering that, but yeah, they're really tall. They have this Nordic appearance, but abnormally tall. Apparently, based on the research, they're here to help our species.
Supposedly they go from 6 to 7 feet tall.
Yeah, I wish I
So-
was that tall.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah. So yeah, they're really tall. They're very brilliant, smart, and they kind of keep us in check and teach us ways to improve our human species, basically. Where's the point of origin, if you can?
Well, the point of origin is the Pleiades.
The Pleiades.
Pleiades. That's the constellation on the stars and the heavens. So I mean space. So supposedly that's where they're from. That's where and even NASA have tried to like send stuff over there. I've heard about it. I'm not 100% true, but
Wow, that's interesting. Interesting.
it is weird because NASA know a lot about this stuff, but they don't share much. At least about the constellations. I know they study all these constellations. They're always looking up. They have observatories everywhere. You know who
Right.
also has an observatory?
Who?
The Vatican.
Yes, they do. They do.
And do you know how is it called?
What's it called?
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's Lucifer. I think it is.
Whoa, you might want to look that up.
I can.
That sounds very interesting.
Observatory. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I think so. I'll find it. I'll find it. Don't worry.
All right, so yeah, that's an interesting hypothesis, I guess. But with that being said, they do have an observatory. They do have claims, and they have mentioned in the past that there is possibility of life beyond Earth.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting for entities such as the Vatican, who are very religious and very
But why they would
opposed to
choose
that.
that name? If that's the name, why did they choose that name?
well. I
That's
mean,
like,
think about it. The name in and of itself is considered the brightest light, the light bringer, the light bearer, right? So when you look at the stars, what are you looking at, right? You're
Yeah.
looking at the light. You're looking at the things that shine the brightest, which are suns and stars. A star is a sun, but essentially you're looking at things that emit light. So that's why they probably would name it. But yeah, it's a little bit odd. It's a little bit odd to get into that.
They're
But
saying that when he fell down, he fell like a
he felt like a star from heaven.
from
Yeah.
heaven.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it does make sense to name it something like that, because when you observe something, you're typically observing light forms,
Gotcha.
right, in the sky. So yeah, so that's it for the Pleiadians. I guess is the proper term. The other one that I was interested in, and it's the most common. It's my little fellas, the Greys.
Oh,
Right.
The well known, the well
the
known.
most known across the board, the ones that do the little peace sign for. I think that they have a lot of history, right? And they're very well described. However, what you'll find is that there's different intentions for every scenario. Some of them will abduct you and they'll test you out and put stuff in your body, while others are just there to observe, and then there are others that are there to wreak chaos.
That's crazy, man. Because they're supposedly very tiny.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
No, actually, they come in various sizes.
Okay.
They come in various sizes. So my thoughts on it is that perhaps, maybe, they were future versions of us.
That's what I've heard.
I think about that sometimes.
I heard that theory before. Like it's like our future us, and they're finding a way to come back in time in order to let us know.
We messed up big time.
Exactly.
And this is how you're gonna make it right.
Exactly. Like that's what I.
That sounds very interesting.
It is. It is. It is.
Very, very interesting. And,
You know that there was a movie. I don't know if you ever saw that movie called AI.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's with that's a Steven Spielberg film
Yeah.
about a boy, and it kind of used the whole Pinocchio story.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to be a real boy.
That's a great movie.
But at the end, he froze, and I believe it was Coney Island, and there was a statue.
He froze, and the people that came were like alien, kind of like they look like the Greys,
Right, right.
and they at the end he became like the only remnants of humanity, like the only thing.
But they only gave him a certain amount of time.
Yeah,
That was the freaky part.
that was.
I mean, this is a complete segue off to it, but to make the comparison, but that's very interesting, right? Like they said, hey, we can't make you a real boy, but we'll let your brain believe that it is for a certain amount of time, and then we're going to turn you off. And the kid actually had a choice. He could have stood with them, coasting the whole cosmos,
Yeah.
but he chose to be human and just have his 5 minutes of I guess, glory.
That's I never understand that part because why we don't go with him, you know, like, go with them and
Well, I mean, when you live life, right, you experience human interaction.
yeah.
Irrespective of what you are, that feeling of being around people and just having that conversation or experiencing a moment, we crave that, right, as human beings. And
Gotcha.
human interaction is a necessity, you know. So I think the kid believed so much that he was a human that perhaps he needed the interaction because that was more important than life itself.
Well, at the end, he ended up being more than human because, well, he ended up being human because he was the only like proof of life there. Like
Right.
everybody died, you know. Everything froze.
Right.
The whole planet froze.
Interesting, right?
Right.
Very interesting. So Greys, yeah, they're all over the place.
They're all over.
And very interesting species, to say the least. I think the abduction part is the freaky part, right?
Why? You know? Oh, do you remember that movie? This is an old one. Like, it's about a guy that get kidnapped by the
Fire in the Sky.
Fire in the Sky. Right?
Fire in the Sky. That's actually based on true events.
Yeah.
And the
Sideways.
gentleman actually spoke on it. I forgot his name. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but yeah, Fire in the Sky.
That was that movie. It shows everything when they kidnap him. They do experiment on him and all that.
Right.
That was like very very graphic. And then
It's very interesting and very fear-inducing because
Yeah.
we always look at it from the perspective that aliens are, great people, and But Stephen Hawkins, to his point is, if an advanced civilization was to come to Earth, and they knew they were more advanced than you, what makes you think they want to be your friend, right? Like they're probably gonna take everything you have because they're gonna need resources, and they'll probably use you, right? That's the kind of like. Not word for word, but that's kind of like what I got from what he said.
just think about it. That's what the conquistador did to the Indians. You know, I mean, they were more advanced, and they try to conquer them, extinguish them. You know what I mean? So if
And he said that as well.
yeah,
That the proof is in our history.
exactly.
You know, so that kind of does make sense.
Unless because we don't know how civilized they are. Civilized they are, exactly. Because do you think they really want to help us? I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, if there's something to gain from it, perhaps, right?
Exactly.
But the universe is plenty big. There's a lot of uncharted areas unexplored.
You think they want our resources or something like that?
Well, there are various books and texts that depict us humans as a result of an experiment created for us to harvest gold,
Gotcha.
right? So it's not far-fetched, you know.
That's you're getting into the Anunnaki story.
Yeah. But I don't want to delve too deep in that. But I'm just using that as an example. So who's to say that we're not just providing resources for
And it's funny because if that's pretty much what the conquistador did to the Indians. That they wanted the gold.
Right.
So what did they want the gold for? You know.
Well, gold is the perfect conductor.
Yeah.
Think about it. It holds its weight. Even in the stock market, the thing barely goes down.
Yeah.
It's one of the most valuable resources. There's not an infinite supply, right? You use gold in circuitry. You use gold to as a conductor.
Cell phones. I heard cell phone has gold particles.
You know,
too.
there's actually totally off topic, but there are businesses that take motherboards and
Recycle them.
and recycle it
just to get the gold parts.
to get the
and
gold
stuff.
and the silver and all that stuff out of there. So, who's to say, right? The average person like you or me may not know to the extent of how these things are being utilized and what's the true potential of it.
The true meaning.
You know, and an advanced civilization might know more.
Exactly.
So, or an advanced race from a different place.
But I heard there's some meteorites and comets that had like a lot of precious metals on it.
Oh yeah, they do.
So if there are those aliens are very advanced, they can find a way to mine them or.
Yeah, that's possible.
Man,
But wouldn't it be easier to just take over and just tell somebody to get it for you?
yeah.
You take less of a risk.
Mm-hmm.
Food for thought.
What if we are like I don't know, maybe they're doing like hybrids with us?
Oh, you're talking about like so. That's interesting, right? There's a something to that effect where there's a alien human hybrid. They call them Star Child.
Star Child, yeah, I heard the
Yeah.
term before. Yeah.
Another one, which is even more creepier than that, is called the Black-Eyed Children. But we should have another segment for that.
I think I heard a story about that.
So
the black-eyed children.
Yeah, like they knock on your door. Can you let me in? And if you let them in, nobody knows what's gonna happen, but something happens, right? But yeah, and then if you don't let them in, they just disappear off the face of the earth, right? Like you don't ever see them again. But imagine, like those could be hybridized species or races, right?
You never
Between
know.
humans and a different species of alien. So, I mean, these are things that are mentioned that exist and has, according to the research, has happened. But again, it's a good segue to the next episode. Maybe talk about it a little bit more and do a little digging.
Yeah. We can do, and also, guys, you can always comment if you guys want us to research about a topic. I mean, you guys are more than welcome to say it on the comments, and we can check for the topic, and we can bring it to the channel. I mean, we want to interact with the public, with you guys. You know, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Okay.
Right. So moving on. So we're gonna go out of the gray section, right? And they're very interesting. I mean, in some images they look very odd, and in some cases they look super friendly. I don't know what
That doesn't inspire me. That picture right there doesn't inspire me any friendliness.
He's actually looking at me saying, "Hey, come over here. I want to check something out."
No.
All right, so let's look at the next race, and this is called the Alpha Draconian.
Oh my god. I heard those the bad guys. I don't know.
Yeah, so apparently there's this big rumor, or not rumor, but this theory that there's this big intergalactic war, and that there are a series of species or races that are here to protect us, and there's another group, right?
Yeah.
That they're not necessarily here for us, but for our resources, and they utilize us as either food or as a slave.
Cattle. I heard they use
Yeah.
it as a cattle
So-
or like hybrid stuff like that.
So this is like a subset of the reptilian race, but they're like super strong, super smart. They their point of origin is the constellation Draco.
Draco.
So yeah, they're supposedly very aggressive, very violent.
Supposedly that that constellation used to be used as the North Star.
That's the Northern Star.
Northern Star, long time ago. Like we're talking about before Christ. Like it was in the 4th and 2nd millennium before Christ.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Interesting. So for me, I think that it doesn't bode well to have a species like that on Earth. But you know what you hear nowadays, right? In politics, in all these stars, that they're all reptilians nowadays,
There
right?
could be,
Yeah,
man.
who's to say they're not Alpha Draconians?
You never know.
So
Yeah, you ever watched that movie? No, the TV series. That TV series called, I think it was V.
oh, that was great.
That was
Well, I like the old version.
yeah, the old version.
The
I
one-
never saw the new one. You saw the new one?
No, I saw the new one for a bit. It wasn't, you know what it is? It wasn't as intriguing. And I guess because I saw the original one, you know, and it had my guy. You know, the Beastmaster was the main guy, right? So it was
Exactly.
pretty cool, you know?
Yeah, really good.
That's just the 80s in me, I guess. But yeah, it had a.
I was so scared when I used to. I was.
Yeah, you saw when the skin
young.
ripped?
Yeah.
And then you saw the eye, and it's like, oh, that's a reptile,
Yeah.
you know? And then now you're seeing like glitches on TV.
Yeah.
People are talking and then their faces getting distorted and they look kind of reptilian in nature, right? But again, it's just weird. It's interesting.
They're
It-
calling
it is
the
interesting.
they're calling the demon syndrome phase now, something like that. I
Oh no,
heard.
but that was part of the eclipse,
I
you
don't
know,
know.
and that has to do with
That's
So from what I understand, there's a song, there's a group called Soundgarden, and they wrote this song called Black
Soundgarden.
Hole Sun,
Yeah.
right? And essentially, what transpired there is that in the music video, they're looking at what essentially is
an eclipse.
an eclipse / black hole type scenario, and when they look, their faces are warping very similar.
Kind of like the smiley man.
Yeah, kind of like the smiley man.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
so we're going about it from that point of view and it's saying, okay, so this is like the new thing. And there's some correlation behind it, but guess what? The eclipse happened. I don't see any demon faces. So I guess
I
it's
don't
been
know.
debunked. Unless somebody can prove otherwise. But.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's pretty much it for for the alien species.
What about the before we stop the topic there about the alien creature? Do you think E.T. You know the movie E.T.
Right.
Why he will be classified? What type of race was E.T. in the alien race? Like
I don't know.
right?
I mean, that it was just.
He was kind of like a gray one, but
You could say that, but given its intention and its shape, and
right.
I mean, the thing was literally a box.
Right.
It looked like a box if you look at it, right? But I wanted to classify it as a gray, or it would be too weird.
Weird, right?
It would be too weird to classify it as a gray if it doesn't have those same features.
Yeah.
And that, by the way, that's like the symbol of our generation, right?
Yeah.
ET is one of them.
E.T.
And-
wanted to go home,
yeah, he wanted to go home. So it's the only alien that I have ever heard of that doesn't want to be here.
right?
He wants to go home. So think about that. Unlike these other species, they look like they have a vested interest in what we're doing and what we have and what we can do for them. So
I have heard that those reptilian-looking ones. I wanted to talk about you. There's this guy. This is. Let me fix my chair here. I have to face you because this is very important. I heard a story of a guy. He ended up losing some fingers. He used to work for the government, and he was like they were drilling some tunnels underneath the earth,
yes,
and he was with some special commandos doing those.
that is correct. That
And
is correct.
this guy encountered like an alien looking guy look like a reptile thing.
I believe that's the incident in Dulce, New Mexico.
Exactly.
And
That
the
one
dude
right
the
there.
dude eventually passed away, from what I understand. But he has some videos.
The weird thing is he always said it like, "Oh, if I wake up dead, if they kill me." Like he will always say it like, "If something happened to me, it was the government, it was not me." You know, like because apparently it happened, and he lost like 3 fingers. Supposedly he was shot with a type of like a laser gun.
Yeah, there's a video about it, and he
Yeah.
actually shows his hand like his
Yeah.
fingers got cut off. But who's to say that wasn't a machine or something?
I don't know.
Right, but it is interesting, and he makes a compelling case, and the way he presents it, right? Because some of this stuff could get presented and it's not believable, but the way he presented it was
Exactly.
very, very believable. So that's another line item I guess we're gonna have to discuss.
And the other guy in the Mexican guy, he's being showing all these bodies like mummies from.
Right.
There's a lot of things out there. They're real or not, we really don't know. We're here to show it to you, to bring it to you. We cannot say if they're real or not. We don't have enough evidence.
So
That
we're
is-
asking people if you're watching the live and you go to the YouTube site, post it on the comments on what you're interested in watching, so that way we can go ahead and make a case for putting it in the next episode. So if you do watch this, please put it in the comments, and please be sure to like and subscribe.
Definitely,
Alright.
definitely.
All right, so let's go now and segue into something that's very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, there is a movie called They Live.
Beautiful.
Now,
movie.
I'm
Beautiful
a
movie.
huge, I am a huge, huge John Carpenter fan, and I've seen about every single movie, but none has been more relevant this time around that They Live, right? So let me give you a rundown of what They Live is. It's a early '80s movie with Roddy Piper, and essentially he goes and he's looking for work in kind of like a very distorted version of our society, where well it could be similar to today, and essentially he finds these glasses, and when he puts these glasses on, all the signs show to I guess it projects when he puts on these glasses certain symbology, like the word obey or listen, that kind of stuff, and basically it kind of ties into the times, right? Like you have a group of people that are very high up in the elite, right? And they kind of control what you can or cannot do. So let me just show you real quick what the aliens look like in the movie, because I thought it was pretty cool. The special effects were cool, and everything was really amazing about that whole story. And then we'll watch a clip, all right, and just talk a little bit about it and how it correlates to today's time. So let me just go here real quick on the group scene. So here's the mask, right? I purchased it. There you go. And that's how the aliens actually appeared, which I thought was pretty neat when it comes to the effects. Now let's watch a clip real quick, and let's talk about They Live, because I thought it was pretty cool.
I think that's one of the best movies ever in sci-fi.
Yes, I agree. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. All right, so let's look at it. And audio is up, so if it's a little loud, please forgive us. We're going to press play. Roddy Piper kicks ass. Marry and reproduce.
Wow. Deep.
So there's a lot of symbology that's going into this.
Subliminal messages right there.
No independent thought.
You see, consume.
Wow. So I think we've seen enough, right? Or you just want to see the alien? I think
Yeah.
We gotta see.
That's the best part right there. Even the magazines look.
Do not question authority.
Wow. It's a big message, man.
So I asked ChatGPT to build me a Shopify store, and it said, no.
Alrighty. So they live. Give me 1 second here. We're gonna close this out. All right. So it's interesting, right?
It
How
is.
far ahead of its time that movie was. And it was so subtle, right? Because it used this concept of an alien invasion. But it really was, what it really represented is the aliens were the elite.
They were the exactly.
You know, they're the elite.
They were the one in
And-
power.
And
the
that's what
one-
I interpret it as today, right?
The one that has the house with the big house with pools and all that.
Right.
They say it on the movie. Yeah,
So it's interesting
it's crazy.
on how something that old is projected in today's time. And a lot of people are so conscious about it, right?
Those aliens were so advanced that they had the Apple Watch.
They did,
Remember?
right?
They used to talk in the.
Yeah, they used to talk to other
Yeah.
people. Look at that. Like,
You see?
that's how far ahead they were. So I think that it's something for people to look at. You know, when you watch these films, you know, don't just take it, observe what the intention is that the
Exactly.
filmmaker's trying to project. And kudos to John Carpenter. I think he was a brilliant mastermind at telling these stories.
Definitely.
Maybe it wasn't with that intention,
Mhm.
but it was so accurate that now you can't deny it, right?
Exactly.
You can't. And the crazy part is that society is waking up. They're saying, hey, I want to do this. I want to do that. I don't want to be beholden to. Why is it that I got to do this? They're questioning
Exactly.
everything.
Especially these days, I think there's been like a wake up. People are waking up from some stuff and that's good. I mean, we need to be alert because there are powers out there that want to control you.
Yeah, and I think that's human nature to some extent.
Yeah.
You know, it depends on the degree, right? Because there is a need for some control. I'm not opposed to it. You know, you don't want people running rampant and doing.
You don't
whatever
want
they
an anarchy.
Yeah. You know, but I think that it's a great segue to just, you know, looking at these horror films, these sci-fi films, these documentaries in a
Yeah.
different light and say, hey, how does this correlate to the reality I'm in? Or is there a potential for it, right? Because this is a movie, and it's funny because when you think about it, what's the first thing you think about when you think about They Live? Aliens and Roddy Piper.
Exactly.
Because Roddy Piper, he
was a wrestler. He was a good wrestler by that time.
So he was a great wrestler. So you see the entertainment value on it, but nobody really digs deep and look at the intent. When I say nobody, I mean people who are just watching a movie.
Exactly.
You know, I'm not talking about everyone in specific, but yeah, I'm just generalizing. But I think it's a good thought process.
I think that I always say that movies. I think this is what my personal thought, my thinking that movies they'll telling you stuff like sometimes a movie will tell you something. If it's true or not, we cannot say, but a lot of them, like the example that I did of the iWatch,
The iPhone.
the iPhone watch, whatever. That look, we have it right now.
Right, and that comes for there's an old saying for that, and it's science fiction has a tendency to become science fact,
Exactly.
right? And when I was a kid, there were like these little in Star Trek, they had the
The
little
communicator.
the communication comms piece that was their
Yeah,
badge,
yeah.
on their
Remember
shirts,
that.
and now those technologies exist.
Even like you remember the cartoons, the Inspector Gadget.
Yeah,
Remember the little girl had like a book that was like a computer,
right.
And now we got laptops,
And we got iPads.
Exactly.
And tablets. So it's kind of interesting to see. What drives me crazy though is how fast it's happening.
Exactly.
When you look at the history of our civilization and how we've progressed,
Exactly.
most of it happened within a span of 100 years or more, a little bit more than that.
That's scary. That's
know,
scary because
So it just went from being cavemen and then learning about metallurgy and fire and light, and then all of a sudden, boom! It's you just
Technology.
shoot right out, But at the same time, I'm looking forward to it because a lot of great advancements come from it, So I'm not really fearful. I'm fearful with the person who wields it, right?
exactly.
So hopefully, human race keeps improving and keeps emerging.
But you know that the majority of our technology it comes from the military weapons, the military purposes.
There's some truth to that.
Yeah.
I had a professor who used to tell me that Tang, the drink Tang,
Yeah.
originally was, and I don't know if it's true or not, but if somebody out there posted in the comments if they're watching,
You know
this.
how much Tang I drink when I was a kid.
Yeah, but supposedly it was originally a military experiment where it's like a drink you can mix with water and they would take it,
Oh,
right? The same thing with Velcro,
Yeah, the Velcro. Yeah.
right? So there's a lot of things that go through military first. I mean, I'm assuming that if they figure it doesn't deem any harm or
What do you think it takes us so long to have driving vehicles by itself? Because we already had missiles that were guided, but they don't hit nothing in the sky because they're flying and they need to hit is a target, right? But now they're implementing that technology to vehicles. That's why it takes so long because there are too much obstacles in the street.
So I think that that's not because they didn't have the technology. I think it's practicality.
Exactly.
Right. My observation is that in the greater scheme of things, the protection of the country is going to always be more important than the
of
technology
course,
serving
of course.
a specific function.
Yeah.
Oh, I can take a Segway over here and I don't have to use my car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a commodity, right? That's comfort. Versus something that, hey, listen, in dire straits, we have the tools to protect.
Yeah.
So that's something to give thought. It doesn't mean it wasn't there. It just wasn't the priority,
Exactly.
right? So yeah. So let's see what else is on the agenda. So we're gonna say goodbye to this this Draconian, and
We got the
paranormal ghost stuff. I love this stuff, and I'll tell you, I love it because of one, the entertainment value it brings, and two, because there's something that no matter what you want to believe, it kind of hits your soul, right? Like whether you believe in it and you enjoy it, or you believe it and you don't, you believe in it somehow. And if you don't believe in it, when it happens, you still have that lingering thought, like.
It is true.
It's
It's not
possible,
true.
right? So we're gonna watch a couple of videos and
There is a lot of haunted places.
There's a couple of them, but I think at the end of the day, supernatural stuff is just fun to watch, and I like to see if it's real or not. So we're gonna use Nuke's top 5 because I think Nuke is great.
Have you ever had an experience like a
I can't recall that I've ever had one, but yeah, it's possible that I could experience it. So let's look at Nuke's top 5 and see what they have to offer today. Let's see. Nuke's top 5. All right.
A man from Medellin, Colombia is horrified when his cat starts behaving very strangely and appears to see something that he can't see.
Nieves, ¿qué pasó? ¿Qué ves? Oye, Nieves.
So before we continue, you know that they have this thing where like they say that pets have like a special vision where they can see beyond the spectrums that our eyes are allowed to see.
I can vouch for that. In the place that I grew up, every time somebody like die, for natural causes or whatever, all the dogs will start barking, the chickens, everything. Like if they're seeing something, could be the angel of death. Maybe they're seeing it walking, going to that person to take the soul, and I don't know. I'm going deep, but the animals have that sense. I don't know. That's what I've heard, and I can vouch for that because when I grew up, there were a lot of elderly people, and when they die and stuff like that, people will say, "Oh, last night all the animals were crazy," blah blah blah, and then somebody died.
Interesting. And there's also the that they can see ghosts and apparitions, so they can see beyond the human spectrum. Is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
So we have you have apparently a series of a spectrum that covers a certain amount that our vision is allowed to see, and then the pets have a little bit more. The same thing with their smell, right? They can smell things that we typically can't. But yeah, it's interesting to see that there's a video about a cat who's like it's going through a.
And cats are definitely scary. I have a cat, and they're weird, man. Cats are weird.
Yeah,
Weirder than dogs. Yeah.
I agree.
Nieves. Marica se quedó congelada, huevón, vea. ¿Qué putas, vea? Nieves. Marica. Nieves, ¿qué miras?
Oh, you see it?
It's like a dark shadow, right?
Right.
Nieves. Dios mío, parece un... Nieves. Nieves, oye, ¿qué estás viendo? Nieves, nena. ¿Qué ves, Nieves? Parece una estatua. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué estabas viendo, nena? ¿Por qué me asustas así? Ya. ¿Qué pasó, mi niña? ¿Qué pasó? Ey. ¿Qué putas? ¡Oh! What? ¿Qué pasó?
That's interesting.
The cat is completely frozen and refuses to move, intently staring at something in the opposite room. The man nudges the cat, pets the cat, and even shakes her, but nothing will divert its intense stare. The cat, who is usually very affectionate, then becomes aggressive and just scratches him. The video has been shared and reposted to the internet countless times, and of course, without a source. Many concerned viewers believe the cat saw a spirit or an entity, and some say that they too see a shadow-like figure staring back at her. But did you see it? Let me know down in the comments. Hi, Joe. Reddit user Kimberly can't fall asleep one night and decides to get up for a late night snack at 1:30 a.m. Except for her boyfriend.
That's bad because I typically get up for a late night snack.
Yeah.
So it looks like I won't be getting any snacks that late at night. But yeah, it's notice that a lot of these things happen in the most like weirdest like settings. Like
Because I have heard that the wishing hour, the spirit hour,
what time is that?
I heard it's between 3 a.m. And also I heard about 3 p.m. too. Like there's something between 3 p.m. and 3 a.m. that's like a portal opens between realms, and that's why they can.
That's
the
a lot
spirits
of
can
hours,
jump
though.
over.
You don't think? That's a lot of hours for paranormal activity to happen.
No. You mean from at 3 p.m. and at 3 a.m. So
it's not necessarily the full day.
No.
In between that.
No. It's the 3 a.m. At that hour. It's called the wishing hour.
So it's that hour.
That hour,
specific.
yeah,
Okay.
3 a.m. Yeah.
Interesting.
And her female roommate Jackie, who are fast asleep in bed. No one else is in the house. So what happens next, understandably, scares the living shit out of her.
She said, "Oh Jesus."
Jackie. Hi.
Who's calling her?
Okay, I'm gonna go back to work.
That was the smartest thing I've ever heard someone say when they're going through a paranormal experience.
What?
She said hi, she looked, and then she goes, "I think I'm gonna go to bed now."
That's
That is the most hilarious thing I've ever heard. But you know what? That's smart, because in horror films, what happens? Oh, let's go see what it is.
But you know, I have heard too from old people that if you ever hear somebody calling you, you should never answer. Why? I don't know, because supposedly it's bad. Like if you hear somebody, like you're by yourself in your house and you hear somebody calling your name, you should not answer.
Interesting. So now that means that when somebody calls me in the middle of the night, I should just ignore them entirely, even if it's not a ghost.
Well, that's a good excuse. That's a good excuse. That's a good excuse.
So now I know what to say. Well, I thought you was a ghost.
Well, exactly. That will be a good.
But this was really funny, and you know, respectfully, I mean, she might have had a very tough experience, but you know, it's just the response was so calm and so proper. Well, I think I'm gonna go to bed now. Like, hey, you know what? You know, for us, I would have said, "Oh hell no," and I'm running. I'm not even putting.
I leave the house.
She's literally putting her snacks back where they belong. Look at this. She puts the chair back. Nope, I would have ran.
Kimberly jumps when a loud female voice can be heard saying, "Hi," from the doorway right behind her.
Oh, Jesus!
Confused by the sound, Kimberly gets up, half expecting her roommate Jackie to be standing there in the doorway. But there's no one there. Even stranger, Kimberly has two small dogs who will usually come running when they hear the rustling of food containers. But the little dogs stay far away and even seem a bit skittish.
That's because they're intelligent. They know
Smart
not to
dogs.
go where danger is.
Smart dogs.
You know, those are the, you know, it's funny. Think about it. In a horror film, you never see the pet go. The pet runs away.
Yeah.
You know, we should just take cues from them and listen.
But you know, in scary movies, have you noticed that sometimes they knock at the door very hard, like, and they go and open it? Oh, let me check. Well, how you gonna open it? You know, you look through the window first. Or something.
Right.
I don't know.
We're creatures of comfort. We get comfortable and we don't realize that sometimes you gotta pay attention.
You know that happens to me in my house. Like sometimes they knock, and if I'm not waiting for nobody, and if I'm not like, I don't open the door.
You need to be careful with that.
I don't open the door.
Especially if you're hearing it 3 times.
Really?
Yeah, man.
3 times?
Do some research on that. If you hear knocking 3 times, and like, you shouldn't open the door if you don't see anybody, right? Apparently, that's supposed to deal with like possession and demons and things of that nature. I won't get too much into it, but something for you to do research on if you're getting some strange knocks. But it always comes in 3s. You know, that's kind of like the gimmick or the giveaway about it. I don't know if it's true or not, but something I actually saw in a couple of videos. So let's keep pressing on.
Kimberly says that her female roommate Jackie was fast asleep at the time, and that they have no Siri or Alexa app or other device that could have made the sound. Now, I have to say that Kimberly's frightened response is one of the most authentic reactions I've ever seen. She looks freaked out.
Oh, Jesus!
Why I love Envato Elements? I love that I don't have to animate my own texting conversation.
We are on commercial break. Hold on one second. We're going to skip and we're going to go back on.
We were messing around with my little sister's camera and we just found something like...
It's weird.
It's weird.
It's weird.
Okay.
It's a normal Tuesday in October, around 6 p.m., when a young girl takes out her camera.
This always freaks me out. Anything have to do with children experiencing paranormal stuff, it freaks me out. It's unfortunate that children have to undergo these kind of things.
I think maybe
But
children have that
they have that perceptive
that
ability,
perceptive
right?
because the other, it's a brand new mind. You know what I mean? I think they're more close to I don't know, I'll say heaven than us. They have less sin. They're more like That's what I think. I don't know.
Camera to record her new toy collection and talk about her day. What happens next is downright chilling.
Hey guys, today I'm going to show you my Skibbity toilet collection that I just got today. We went to a toy store and they had all of these things like this cameraman, these tiny little action figures, this big Skibbity toilet, and these ones. And then
She has the creepiest toys I've ever seen.
Isn't that something?
I saw my
I was
friend
actually
the
thinking
other
the same
day,
thing.
and we went on a walk, and we also got ice cream that day, and I'm having a lot of fun.
Look at her face. So first of all, the fact that she stood there as long as she did, she's brave for that.
Yeah, she probably was froze.
Because if I was that age, look, let's be honest. As kids, we were tough. Boys specifically, we're tough guys. But the truth is, when something like that happens, all that goes out the window.
Oh yeah.
And the truth is, she trooped it out. I mean, she stood there.
Even now, I mean, I don't play with.
Do you
that
think is that
paranormal stuff.
like immovable fear? Like
Could be.
oh,
What happened? You saw it?
check it out. We're gonna go
Oh
back.
my god.
Just watch this area here.
Oh my god. Like a black shadow.
That was freaky.
The little girl
I
looks
got
up and
goosebumps.
seems frozen in fear as she stares at something that we can't see. She stares motionless for over 20 seconds and then gets up and hurries out of the room. The camera continues to record and captures something that seems to follow her. Later, the little girl's older sister, Charity Lewis, is looking through the camera's footage and finds this strange recording completely by accident. Charity shares the clip on Instagram and says that before viewing this video, she had no idea that her little sister had experienced anything strange. To this day, the recording remains a mystery.
But you know
We
that
need scary video.
you know that doll that he has on the back, the doll that was on her right hand side.
Yeah.
That's a Raggedy Ann doll, right?
See, so there's a lot of I guess history with that doll. I think the Annabelle
The
doll.
Annabelle doll
Right,
was not a
right.
doll like they portray in the movie. It was actually a Raggedy Ann doll. That was the real Annabelle.
So that's in the
doll.
Warrens Museum out
Exactly.
in Connecticut.
Exactly. So it's a lot of people don't know that they look the movie, they see it was not like
you
that.
want to laugh? When we were kids, those were like typical gifts you would get, right?
Yeah.
Especially my sisters, they would get Raggedy Ann dolls, right? And it's all cute, but then my mom was very cunning and very smart, so she would be like, "No, that's evil."
You see?
Nobody knew what that was, but apparently there's some truth to it because of the whole Annabelle situation.
Have you ever heard about the Smurf? They were saying they were evil too.
No, I've
No?
never heard that.
Yeah, in Puerto Rico was
Really?
supposedly the toys. The toys were like evil. Like there was cases of like a kid that was like had the little toys, and they turned alive, and
Really?
Like kind of harm and like make harm to the kid.
We gotta find that.
Yeah, like
We gotta find that. All right, let's move on to the
Videos.
next
So if you
video.
see a video online that you think is creepy, disappear as they drive past. The two men start to walk. The driver manages to dodge the creepy stranger, but the two guys have no idea who would
Apparently
be
there's
out
a-
walking.
There's a ghost on the road, and I guess the driver sees it. But these are very common nowadays, right? People driving down the strip. And
I
they
have
see-
seen people like in places like that, and I'm driving, so it's very dark. I'm not gonna stop to see if it's a person or a ghost, and if it's a person, I'm not gonna give him a ride. I'm sorry, it's too dark. You don't know
Right,
when.
right. But here's one that always draws my attention: Stranger in the Woods.
Strangers in the woods. Stealth camper Sam from the YouTube channel The Northwest Wind frequently sets up camp in public and somewhat odd places, like Walmart, a public bathroom, a cemetery, and even behind his neighbor's shed. On one of Sam's stealth camping trips, he decides to set up camp for the night in a wooded park just outside of Cleveland, Ohio. After setting up his tent for the night in the cold January temperatures, Sam starts to get a bit worried about his decision to stay there.
I don't know why, I'm just spooked. I haven't been saying that, but I've been spooked since I got here. I keep feeling like somebody's watching me. And then seeing that person. I know it's a public park, but still.
Then, as night falls, Sam's concerns turn into a real-life nightmare.
There's somebody, hang on. I don't know if they can see it or not through the tent. I don't think so. I'm leaning right up against the light, but somebody's walking around out there very close to the tent. They're getting closer, hang on. Hang on. They're really close now. They're like, listen.
Hello? Hello?
While sitting in the dark, Sam hears two people walking around outside his tent, and they're getting closer and closer.
Hello? Hello? Alright, I don't like this. Hello? Hello? They're touching my tent. Hello? Alright, I'm getting the f*** out of here. Hello? Hello? I don't know what the f*** this is, but we're getting out of here. Hang on. Hello? Okay, they're walking away now. What do you want? What do you want?
That's not even a tent. It's
I have a knife.
Very small
Where's
tent.
my knife? Say something. I see you. They collapsed my tent on me. I don't know which way they went. I think they went.
So here's the problem I have with this. I get that you want to do like stealth camping and stuff like that, but you know you have to be aware of these kind of situations and know the risk you're going to take. And some of it is very foolish sometimes. If you already knew, there's a mental cue you got to follow. Yeah. If I know I feel like I'm being watched, I am not staying there. Why would you stay there?
And not even that. You see, his tent is like, that's not even a tent. It's like really, really small. You know what I mean?
It's a sleeper.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
that's all it is. And I mean, cool. It's great for him because I mean he's doing something unique. But you could have picked a better choice, and you could follow your instincts.
Yeah, I know.
You know, because those could have been some like. You ever seen The Hills Have Eyes?
Yeah. Look at the tent. How small it is. That's like a sleeping bag. Man.
Yeah, that's freaky.
I don't know. If I go into camp, I'm gonna go maybe at least 2 people. That way, someone can stay awake and the other one sleep. You know, like take turns. But too much weird thing going.
Yeah, that's a little bit insane. So let's move on to just go back in here and close out this ghost video. I believe we have an interesting video that we found. And this one I found as something that really scared one of my kids when they were younger.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But there was an interesting tale behind it. So the video is called "I Feel Fantastic," right? And basically the premise behind it is that there's some kind of mannequin / robot that sings this really annoying cryptic song, and you're gonna listen to it shortly. But apparently there's some kind of and I don't know if it's true or not, but there's some kind of story behind that, and it has to do with a murder that took place, right? And apparently the guy kind of like shows the video of this mannequin in different positions singing, "I feel fantastic," and it ends up being that
It is creepy.
it cuts into a scene where they're taking footage of the woods, and then like, wait, that's where the body is, and then they take another picture, and it's just weird, but it's disturbing. So I noticed that you try to find the video.
It says that this video is not even available due to copyright claim
Right.
and stuff like that. But supposedly it was removed from social media. Apparently, people complain about how creepy it is, stuff like that.
It is super creepy. Yeah. And not only is it super creepy, it's just disturbing, right? Is it true or not? I don't know. I haven't dug up enough, but I think it's something worth watching. And I figured, as a segue to finalize the show, first episode, just put something.
It is a very
good.
creepy thing. I mean,
so let's take a look at it, and let's go for it. I feel fantastic, folks. Let's take a look. Where are you? Here we are. So let's go to it. Start it from scratch, and let's press play.
Hey, 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 you feel fantastic. Hey, 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 you are fantastic. Hey, 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 I feel fantastic.
Isn't that creepy?
it is creepy.
It's disturbing. And the fact that you could see that you could tell it's a mannequin, right? But its hand is going like this, so you could tell there's some kind of robotic element or mechanical element to
Supposedly,
it.
his name is Tara, the singing android.
Yeah,
Supposedly.
I mean that's nothing about singing there.
Yeah.
Let's continue on and see what else we're hearing.
Hey, hey, hey. You feel fantastic. Hey, hey, hey. Run, 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 run. Please, me, please, me, please, me, please, me, please, please, me. You are fantastic. Run, 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 run.
What was the purpose behind the pose changing? I mean, it's already disturbing enough as it is,
Right?
And
To
now
see
you
it
got
like
this,
that.
and now you got this thing, right, in a house, and you could obviously clearly tell it's dark out there. What you don't realize is that if you look at the window, there's a face in the window.
Oh, really?
Yeah, look at it.
It's not the reflection of the android?
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it matches with what's going on there.
That's crazy. Whoever did it with their intention to scare people, definitely.
Or perhaps it's the reflection and it's creating an illusion. But it's just so disturbing. And then it goes into this crazy upside down thing. Right? And then this is where it gets weird. Like, what's the point behind this? And apparently, that's where the dead body is.
I don't know. That's weird.
So yeah, I feel fantastic. How do you feel?
I feel disturbing. After that.
Yeah, it's been a lot to see, but this one to me was probably the most disturbing piece of footage.
You know, this one that I'm seeing here on my screen.
It has an explanation.
No, it's kind of like
a second video. So
like-
there are multiple videos, by
this
the way.
one has the mannequin has like a black hair.
Yeah.
And he's also like doing different poses.
Yeah, so this thing was very
I swear.
very popular in the early 2000s, and I don't know if it's ever been debunked or not, but again, it's one of those creepy things you just want to show and talk about and just share with people. That's kind of like what people find very interesting about these kind of topics, right?
It is.
You know, it's the story behind it. Sometimes it's playful jest, right? And other times it's just some real serious thing took place and there's a backstory and you want to dig in and you want to see what it is.
There's a story here about the mannequin. It says that Tara was built by John Bergeron back in 2003, 2004.
Yeah.
But still a creepy video, man. I mean, I don't know.
So whether it was debunked or not, to me, it's not as relevant. But it's just creepy to watch, and I thought I'd share it with the people out there because I think they would like to see something creepy from time to time. But yeah, so it's been an interesting viewing for a first episode, right? We saw a lot of things. We spoke about
I think we talked about a lot of stuff. About
aliens, cryptid, conspiracy.
Yeah.
They live, you know.
Very interesting.
And I always say it's a sign of the times, right? Sometimes what you see on TV can actually become factual. It's just manifested differently.
Definitely.
And in short, you know, I think there's a lot more to explore, and I'm excited. You know,
a lot more.
And to those who are watching, thank you for watching Distorted Realities, and please make sure you like and subscribe and put your comments as to what you would like to see and what you would like to, what topics you would like for us to just showcase and talk about.
We're open. We're open to discussion. We're open to have new ideas for the show. We accept criticism as long as the good one. The good one.
Yeah, that's the preferred one, right? So with that being said, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for watching Distorted Realities. This is J Rock and Frank Walls, and we're signing out.
Thank you for the support, guys. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thank you.